Happy Friday, everybody. We are live and we got our OGs in the house. Want to welcome you all to an amazing show today as we're following up from yesterday's analysis to see just exactly where we're at today. But we got big news on XRP. The case is officially dropped. That's been such a long battle, not to mention all the millions and millions of dollars that have been spent on lawyers and fees. And oh my God, it's over. That case has been dropped. I saw Andrew made a comment about why isn't XRP on the thumbnail, and actually it's because we did XRP analysis yesterday, and that was on the thumbnail for yesterday. But yeah, that is big news. It's been a long time in the making. It's just one more thing in this long line of dominoes toppling over as the anti-crypto crusade exits the building. And yeah, and the guys who are all for this space are rallying around it in all the ways that we want to see. And innovation seems that once again, it will be able to thrive. And Brad Garlinghouse is the GOAT. That's it. That's all for today. I hope you like the show. Actually, that was amazing news. And I remember the moment I was just telling Trip when actually that lawsuit was filed in whenever it was filed, and I bought the dip hard. Like, I just remember thinking there's no way that this should be right. It just, now here we are on the right side of history, a new administration, a new precedent, and wow, I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling amazing this Friday. I'm so excited to just chat it up a little bit with you guys, see where you're at in your headspace and what you got going on for the weekend. Let's see here, Andrew. Welcome to the show, man. I'm just so hyped on that. I was on a losing streak and got a win with a 140x trade. Oh my goodness. Right before yesterday's run started. What in the, did you do 140x trade? Oh no, 40x trade. I read that wrong. 140x trade. Was it XRP? Interesting, but congrats on that. Congrats on that. Real Ice Bear, what's up? Yeah, that's a solid win if I do say so. Okay, let's skip the tip. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but we are going to get into Trips tips, so we're not skipping those. Oh yeah, alive. Come on, ETH, keep going. ETH is driving BMNR. James, I kid you not. Trip and I were talking about BMNR backstage, and we actually thought that maybe we were live and you heard us because you literally dropped that right as we were talking about it, guys. I bought it. Trip bought it. I mean, we're all buying. We were buying the stock back when it was it dipped. I mean, we talked about it on the show. And we were saying how, Tom Lee got out there and had his whole strategy going. Kathy Wood bought the dip. Man, I'm telling you, this show is alpha. I'm talking my book here, but we've been really great. But with getting this news out before it happens lately, timing is hard, right? But like, I'm glad that we've been able to be here with you guys before these moves happen so we can prepare you, because we're not here 24/7 like we are in the group. So hope you've been getting a lot of value out of that. We have been really enjoying just building this community, and you guys are awesome. The A team. Remember, we have to come up with a new name too and like join them. We have to come together. Dan, good morning. Can't wait for this run. Oh man, here it is. Here it is. Actually, I got a new stat for you guys. I always say 20% of the gains come in the last, 80% of the gains come in the last 20% of the bull run. And today I heard a stat that Bitcoin's big moves happen about 30 days per year total. So like just something crazy, right? Like the point of that is, regardless of the exact stats, if you're not positioned and you're not paying attention and getting on board that train when it comes to your station, you might miss it. You don't want to be chasing that pump. That is going to be one epic pump when that does happen. So we're getting prepared here on this channel for that epic pump. And yeah, bacon and egg cheese sandwich with a big glass of coffee. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I've not had that in so long. You're making me miss the US. They don't have those here in Spain. We do have tapas and tostadas, which is like toast with like ham, because everybody eats ham here. And let me know what you guys are doing right now. What are you eating for breakfast? What's your drink? I'm not drinking ATH today because I need to be on my game. I need to be focused. I need to be ready to get in these trades. And we're going to show you some good stuff today. What's on the menu for today is the meme showdown, right? So Doge versus Pepe, all the ETH beta coins, right? All the coins that run when ETH runs because they're denominated in ETH, and like ETH is about to rip, right? That rip is imminent. We're going to talk about that today, whether that's going to happen now or later. We'll talk about the levels just as we do on every show. Actually, now this whole week has been sort of like, when is altcoin season going to actually begin, right? Like that bigger drop off of Bitcoin dominance. We've been monitoring it every single day. Could it happen this week? Will it happen this month? We're going to go over that in today's show. ETH versus BTC is now the moment. Total 3 versus BTC. So total 3, all the altcoins minus ETH, Bitcoin, and stables, I believe. And that versus Bitcoin. And then also we're going to update you just total 3 in general. All right. So we're going to give you all the juice to get into the weekend where we will not be with you on the stream, but you'll have everything you need to know from your Jedi Master Trip. Okay. So I hope you like that. Let's see who else is jumping on. Where are you leverage trading? Apple, BTCC. I keep seeing this one come up. I'm going to have to get in touch with that team and see what's up. What's up? Jarvis. Okay, Trip and A team. So are you also from the A team, Jarvis? I don't know if I've seen you here before. Maybe you've been here once or twice, but welcome to the show. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun on the show, especially on Fridays. I got a meeting at 1:15. No, realize, Bear, you can't leave us now. I'll be here in spirit. Okay. You can watch the repeat because you're gonna want to see this before you go into the weekend. Okay. May your candles be green and skull. Wow, that's epic. You're really epic. You're an OG. Ice Bear. Chris, what's up? Lots of love to you. Gary, super late. No, you're not super late. I'm super late today. The schedule's been crazy. But in Spain, it's actually cool and fashionable to show up a little bit late. So I'm just going to use that one for today. So I got BMNR around 30-ish. Nice job, Clifton. Way to go. Who else owns that? I'm really excited for that one. I just bought in a few days ago. Nothing better than catching the start of a crypto making stream. Oh, thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being on the stream. Gary, yeah, you're not late. Don't worry. I'm late today. I'll own it. Hey, guys. Mike, what up? Welcome to the show. I'm just going to give you an update on gold, okay? Because one of the news. So the biggest news piece was that the case for Ripple's been dropped. It's done. It's over. And we're going forward. And a lot of us, I mean, XRP is just doing incredible things. So this is going to be, you know, the next. XRP loves to consolidate, and then boom, take off. So yeah, we're going to try to catch that big boom because we don't want to be picking up pennies from the ground. We want to pick up those bags of cash, okay? We want to find those good trades and let those good trades come to us. That's the goal on this channel. And Trip gives us a lot of strategies that you may not see on other channels. And I give you the analysis and all that I'm seeing on my world tour, especially the podcasts that I have with the founders of these coins that we're all trying to trade and invest in, right? So this is really valuable information, and can't wait to share it all with you guys. Wonderful news. It is indeed, man, from Belize. Am I right? I think I remember you said you're from Belize. You're from the A team. Watchman has invited me here before, and we appreciate the duo on the TA. Oh, great. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, I think that getting the best of both worlds, which is the fundamentals, which are extremely bullish right now, paired with the charts, you can't go wrong there. If you're a long-term investor, you get the valuable information. If you're a trader, you get valuable information, and you just learn in general to make better decisions on investments, right? Because you're looking at the macro, you're looking at where the charts are, where stocks are. We look at global M2 liquidity. We look at all the stuff we can look at to come up with a thesis, and that's what this is all about. What's up, Almanim? Usually you're tuning in from Twitter. So good to see you on YouTube today. See, I got you guys. Is Ripple still banned from institutional sales, or did the settlement drop that? I think the settlement will have cleared that up, but I'm not sure about it. So I think that all the restrictions that had been on XRP previously are just going to be dropped, and it'll be treated like all the other cryptos. So yeah, that's really exciting, guys. That is really exciting. I am very excited for this next run. So this is what I'm talking about gold. U.S. hits 1 kilo gold bars with tariffs in a blow to refining hub Switzerland. So the decision could upend the global bullion market, analysts say. So this is really interesting news, right? And of course, Michael Saylor jumped all over it and had his 2 cents about gold versus Bitcoin. Let's have a look.
Gold, for example, I wonder of the Trump administration ruling that gold bars will be subject to tariffs as well, these reciprocal tariffs. So imports of gold will be tariffed. And that's really sending shockwaves through the gold ecosystem. Gold and Bitcoin are also often compared to one another. Bitcoin called digital gold, for example. I wonder if you think this has any ripple effects, positive or negative, for Bitcoin.
It does. Bitcoin is digital gold. It's going to accelerate the migration of capital from physical gold to digital gold. You know, Bitcoin lives in cyberspace. No tariffs in cyberspace.
I mean, he says this a lot, and I actually think it's a really good, it really resonates with people, right? Like, it's in cyberspace. You can't slam it with tariffs. You can't change the rules. You can't print more. You can't do all of the stuff that they do with our traditional system as it is today. And the dollar that's not backed by literally anything. It just is printed out of thin air, and they do whatever they want with it, come up with new regulations. Bitcoin is borderless. It sits in cyberspace and is protected there. So if you don't like the laws in your jurisdiction, you can just go to another one and go somewhere where they will receive you with open arms and want you to be there. And that's sort of the problem with Europe right now that I'm encountering, is that I'm based in Europe and the regulations here are not great. I mean, it's just, they've been notorious for coming out ahead of new technology and just really just trying to be first to write regulations, right? But they're just not sensible. It's just not a great environment for crypto as a whole in Europe. We do have a lot of talent here, a lot of talent. But as far as like transacting and day-to-day stuff, yeah, I would say US or Dubai are sort of at the forefront of all of that. So yeah, so Andrew says the Ripple institutional sale thing is a non-issue moving forward. Yeah, I don't think it's an issue either. Good morning, Graham. Wow, you're up bright and early. Wow, that's amazing. Good to see you here on the show. People all over the world that are allowed to vote need to vote for their brain and not with their feelings. Okay, well, I would agree. Absolutely would agree. But are you referring to something in particular there, AirSent? But yeah, I would completely agree. Anyway, all of us get it on this channel that owning Bitcoin gives you exponentially more freedom than owning gold, right, in many different ways. And the world is catching up. It's catching on to that sentiment as we get people like Michael Saylor who do speak, are very vocal about this industry. It does help. It does help, right? Because it gets to the mainstream people that may not, they just sort of dismiss it as something they have to get into soon, but they haven't had a chance. That's like the majority of the world right now. So you are very well positioned. And with that being said, guys, I don't think there's much more to catch up on from yesterday, except for the fact that ETH is about to hit new all-time highs very, very soon, it looks like, and we just need to get prepared. We have here CryptoZar David Sachs says the executive orders President signed today will give 90 million Americans access to crypto, and that was about the retirement plans. And don't forget, that is a $9 trillion market. So yes, the floodgates are open and stuff's about to go down, right? So we can just make it through this month of August, navigate this month of August together, and potentially ride the wave while the rest of the world is thinking that August could be a red month. We're going to determine that each and every day here on the channel, Monday through Friday. So Christina, you made it just in time for Trips Tips. So welcome to the show. And yeah, I'm excited, guys. Let me know what you're buying. What are you drinking? What kind of coffee? Where do you go? I want to know what you're up to today. I'm just in a very chatty mood. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull Trip up and we're going to start. How you doing, Trip?
Hey, Megan. Thank you. Doing pretty good today. How are you?
Yeah, I see that some of the people in the chat have been buying BMNR, and it's doing very, very well indeed. I mean, for a stock, wow. I mean, I remember when we talked about that on the show. It was making its dip. We actually showed a comparison. I showed a comparison on X from a similar sort of change that happened, and they became treasury. It did this initial dip off. We bought that dip, and now it's bouncing. And I know you paired it with the chart. And you said there was a bullish divergence, and we ended up buying it. So,
right, yeah, bullish divergence on the 1 hour chart. That's where I got my entry. That was
right.
when it was close to about $30 in the chart. We were really just looking for a pullback to the weekly. I think it was the 1 week 200 MA. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but anyways, that was the level we were looking at mostly as our major support level. So yeah, I started scooping some up at that point for sure.
Yeah. So all you guys that were on that show, I mean, this is a stock that's almost doubled from that moment. And that's just, how long ago was that? I mean, this was not that long ago. So guys, just keep tuning in. That's all I'm saying. Keep tuning in. Let's go ETH. We're counting on you. Yeah, we are, Almanim. Yeah, we are. Unstoppable Bulls. What's up? Jack, with SEC's Project Crypto, I could see some surprise altcoin ETF approvals. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of altcoin ETF pop-ups here and there, and all of the large caps anyway. And some of them that you don't even expect, like Litecoin, maybe Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, it's an interesting environment right now. Wouldn't you say, Trip?
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at mostly large caps to follow Ethereum next, as the usual routine does follow that way. But in the trading group, we're catching a bunch of other stuff too. I think Magic was another big winner that we had, and I can't remember the name of the other. But yeah, we've been finding some random coins that are just ready to break out. Everything seems to be waiting for Bitcoin, and even if Bitcoin moves just a little bit, these coins are starting to move already. And we're going to go into the Bitcoin dominance chart to show why that's happening right now.
All right, so currently retesting the 4 hour 200 MA. I'm going to pass it over to you, Trip. And guys, we're going to start with Trip's analysis. What's up, Crypto Greek? I thought that was geek for a minute. Crypto Greek. Okay, are you from Greece? Just want to know. We're going to start the analysis now. So I'm going to pull up the charts and take it away, Trip.
Right, so this is the Bitcoin dominance 4-hour chart, and we've actually just zoomed into the view for what's on this side of the chart over here. This is the 1 week with this long-term trend line and the 50 MA that we're looking for a break below, and then the trend line ultimately for continued move to the downside. So the 4-hour chart over here, you can see this possible bear flag that was forming before that's now confirmed as a bear flag. It started to break down below the pattern, and now we're starting to move below the 50-week SMA at the same time. So this is what we've been expecting for this pattern to play out in this direction so far. We're just getting close to the support at the 0.5 at about 60.4% level, and that's going to have to break next to really confirm that this is going to continue. We don't want to see this turn into some kind of a bottoming pattern and go right back up. So while we're really close at the moment, I think we definitely want to see a weekly close below that 1 week 50 MA. So it's Friday now. We're going to give it a couple of days, and then hopefully we see that bearish close below the 50.
Right. So we could be just a couple of days away from confirming that we could be starting with that altcoin season. That's wild.
Right. Yeah, that's the goal. So we'll see how big it's going to be, but I think Ethereum's going to take a lead definitely in the beginning, and then we're going to see the altcoins slowly follow afterwards. But if we take a look at the Ethereum chart next, you can see right now we're watching this breakout level. If this is able to break higher, you're going to see that break lower on the dominance chart. So I think Ethereum is primed for that first initial move, but then XRP as well, and ADA and XLM, those are other large caps as well that are probably going to follow. And we had that chart set up for XRP. We'll go over that later on too to see how that's doing. So Ethereum on the 1 day right now needs to break above this resistance around $4,000. ETH on the BTC pair chart, we're already broken above the 50 MA here. So you would normally just compare the inversion of this with the Bitcoin dominance chart, that if ETH BTC is breaking above the 50-week SMA, then Bitcoin dominance should be breaking below that 50-week SMA. So right now it's looking pretty good for Ethereum. We've had a break above the point of control as well, also in this area. So these are pretty strong supports or resistance levels that we want to turn into support for this to continue higher. There's also this golden cross coming into the picture where the 200 MA is above and the 50 MA is below. The golden cross usually starts getting most of the move in after it's broken above that 50. And usually when you see that cross is when it's pretty much fizzling out by that time. So I think the most exciting part for ETH BTC is during this cross that we could see coming over the next couple of months or so.
Oh yeah, we are looking good. Andrew, I see you're frustrated about the delays of the XRP spot ETFs. Hey, they're coming. They're all coming. We got to have patience, and we are right there. So like I said, all of these times where we're kind of just waiting and seeing what's going to happen and when will ETH break out, I'm doing everything possible to get position. Maybe you guys, think about where can I get more cash that I can invest, or just think about your strategy, right? There's always something to be done in these periods where we're sort of waiting on the market to settle, right? So yeah, it can be frustrating, but it can also be to our advantage, right? 808 memes, what's up? You're just a little bit late. Don't worry, I was fashionably late today, but we just started with the charts. We're going over ETH BTC, and we're going to get into altcoins soon. So Megan, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome to the show. And yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, so next we're going to take a look at the total 3 BTC pair as well. This is for most of the coins in the top 100. They exclude Ethereum basically when you're looking at total 3. So it takes a big chunk of that market cap out of the idea here. So we're still looking for that break above the 50 on this chart. And again, this coincides with that Bitcoin dominance chart, just the same. So once you get that break below the 50 here on the weekly, we're looking for the break above the 50 on the weekly for the total 3 BTC pairing. So again, when you're posting or when you're showing a chart for the Bitcoin pair, it means that it's the performance of the altcoin versus the performance of Bitcoin. It's not showing you dollar amounts. But the reason why this is so important is because the reason we're mostly in crypto is to find coins that can outperform Bitcoin. Otherwise, just hold Bitcoin and ride that up instead, which would have been a great idea from the very bottom, since most of the altcoins are still on the floor and Bitcoin's still probably close to like 500% up or something from that level. So again, yeah, it's just another one of those times you want to pay attention to is when this idea flips around. So you like back here when you broke above the 50 and you had this golden cross, that's when altcoins massively outperformed what Bitcoin was doing. And again, this is a log scale chart. So if you wanted to measure this with a price range tool, I guess after the break, this was still about 100% on the performance of altcoins against just Bitcoin. So they outpaced Bitcoin twice as much, if you want to think of it that way, on average.
Wow. Yeah, so this chart is really, really great to kind of conceptualize that and understand what's happening on a bigger scale, like zooming out and having a look at what's been performing better. When are we going to go into altcoins? There's so many things that stories that this chart tells.
Right, yeah. So there's a lot of information here. It's really about timing as well. So if you've been accumulating during this phase for altcoins, you may be running out of time to accumulate at these levels, right? So that's the idea here. Really, it's an alt season when altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. So that's the alt season that we've been talking about. And this is that scenario that would kickstart that action.
There we go. We're right knocking on the door. We might not have our foot in yet, but we are knocking on the door, and it's time to get ready. And this is like your 20th warning on this show. So when it happens, we're all going to be ready for it, right? And we're going to be, like positioned. That is so important. Just want to stress that as we go on. But yeah, all right. Are we ready to get into altcoins?
I still have a Bitcoin chart to share here, and then we'll go into altcoins next. So this is just a quick update on Bitcoin. We're still waiting for a break above this descending channel. We're still struggling kind of to hold above the 200 MA. It's having a couple of wicks down at that level so far. So that's the next confirmation we need to see for BTC is that breakout of this channel. And then we're assuming that altcoins are going to follow. So again, the best scenario is if Bitcoin does break out and dominance still continues lower. It shows that Bitcoin is strong and then people are confident enough to put their money into altcoins while Bitcoin's moving.
Right. That's the mentality behind it. I think that's a really interesting thing to point out. Like what is happening actually, when the money flows and why. So if we don't hold this 4-hour 200 MA, what levels are we looking at?
The same level, the key support here around 111 to 112. That's really just the base level we need to see a bounce off of. Otherwise, you could assume maybe you test the bottom trend line here a little lower. So there are some bearish ideas. Bitcoin definitely has to confirm that breakout soon, or we could essentially have another pullback that could last, maybe a month or two still before we start really taking off again.
Okay, so if we don't hold, so let's try to summarize that for those who are tuning in now, and I might make this a timestamp. So if we don't hold the 4-hour 200 MA, at what point would you say we're going to probably expect a much longer consolidation?
Well, you need to see a break below the 200 MA and then a bearish retest. And then if you zoomed in here, you could also draw another resistance level. So this would be another confirmation level. You'd want to see a break below this line and then again a bearish retest to confirm the downward movement. So it's got a lot of work to do to go bearish from here. But this double bottom on support after it retested, that's shown previously to be the beginning of that reversal. So I think it's still bullish in our favor.
Right. And we are just going to continue to update this as time goes on. But again, level by level, we don't have like preconceived notions of what's going to happen here. Trip is just giving it to you like it is in the moment and giving you the different scenarios, right? Telling you like it is, tuning out the noise, looking at the signal. This is good.
Right. So PEPE, this is one of the meme coins we're going to go over. Recently, we just had a pullback again. This is another chart that looked like a cup and handle for a little while, and now it's extended out. And this is what I mean. When you see Bitcoin pull back, or if it does something bearish inside of a pattern that you don't expect, typically it just means that the altcoins are going to take more time. So they'll probably roll over and make a bigger pattern before they're ready to move. But the key thing that we're focused on here again is that 1-day 200 MA that's acting as support on this lower trend line. So you have some confluence for the support bounce for PEPE. This could be a potential ascending triangle. It's not really a perfect flat top at this moment. So really, we're just going to see what happens when we get to this level. But you could be accumulating inside of this pattern. And then you'd have your stop loss below the 200 MA from this bounce. And that would be your exit point if the pattern was to go against you. But you also could have a lot of time to accumulate before the big move. And you'd have a higher percent profit if you were to enter inside the pattern as opposed to waiting for the break. So if you waited for the break here, and you're aiming for the top of the range, this would be about 210%. If you enter somewhere inside of the pattern, it jumps a whole extra 100%. So it's worth it to consider scaling in even just a portion of your position.
Right. Yeah. And this is the kind of entries that I love and that we love here on the channel is on support. Look at that, that trend line with 200 MA. I mean, this is very, very good. I like this entry idea. And like Trip said, if Bitcoin does decide to consolidate longer on, then maybe you get an even better entry than now. And yeah, Pepe, when it runs, and it definitely runs when ETH runs, right? I mean, that's the consensus here, and that's what's been happening. So it's an interesting one to look at. And I know today we're kind of looking at Pepe, not Pepe versus, but the battle of the memes, right? Doge has always been really relevant in all of the cycles, and I don't see any reason for that to change anytime soon. So let's have a look at where Doge is compared to Pepe.
Right. So I think Doge has just got more of a fan base. It's just like the classic meme coin. A lot of people have come around to it now. So I think definitely it's got its own community that's pretty large, most likely. So the same idea here. We don't have a perfect trend line. Maybe at some point we can draw a trend line from here to there. Really, I don't like to pull trend lines too soon after just an initial bounce. I'd like to see another touch from previous history. So really at this point, we're just focusing back on this break back above that 200 MA on the daily. So for a period, this looked like a bearish breakdown and then a bearish retest, but there was no bearish follow through down to this support. So now that it's holding, this is now turned into a low back here and a high up here, and this could be your first higher low in this series at the bottom. So this is a bullish reversal signal, and you've broken above the 200 MA. So I wouldn't be surprised if Doge was to start moving upwards from here and at least test the resistance at around 30 cents, and that's the level you're going to be watching for a break. If it breaks above the 30-cent mark, we're pretty much going to move in 5-cent increments up to 35, then 40, and then 46-ish, 45. And then we're looking for a break of this high at around that 46-cent level to even consider these upper targets up here. But in my opinion, if Bitcoin does well and Ethereum breaks higher and dominance breaks lower, then that's probably going to be the kickstart where we go up to targets like here at the top of the measured moves for these patterns.
Wow, I'm loving this. I mean, how much do you guys like this analysis? I mean, just the detail in it and describing what the reversal looks like. And this is really valuable information when you're trying to learn how to spot things and what to look for in patterns. If you feel lost or if you've been on a losing streak, or just sort of reset and pay attention to all the stuff that Trip says to look at when you're trying to get into a trade, when you're trying to assess where we're at, right, in the trend. Those are all the most important things. So if you like that, smash the like button. I saw MediaMot reminding everybody, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in this Friday. Smash that like button, share the stream, help us get out there to more people. Aiden Millie, thanks for sharing the stream and welcome.
Okay, so we'll go on to total 3 just to get a bigger picture. This is the USD comparison, so we're not using the ETH or the total 3 Bitcoin pair this time. This is just the USD value for the total 3. So recently we were talking about this cup and handle, and we talked about this breakout that we were looking for and how we could see a rejection at this resistance. And then we were looking for a retest of this key support. So all the things that should happen after you see a breakout of resistance and you come back for a retest, everything's in play so far. It's textbook. So really we're just seeing to see if this falling wedge is going to be holding as a pattern. And we want to see another test of this resistance and then a breakout. So the same idea as we were talking about with Doge, how you had your first low, then you put in a higher high, and then you put in a potential higher low. We're looking for the same idea on total 3, where this is the low, this is that higher high, then this high, and then this is the higher low, then this low. So this is how uptrend begins. We should see if this is going to continue, break above this level and potentially up to the 1.272, around 1.36 trillion as the next move. If we were just to measure this as a bull flag, you just copy the distance of the pole and you measure from the breakout, and we pretty much get a rough estimate of where this bear or bull flag should be headed. So again, it's around that 1.272 level at 1.36 trillion.
Sorry guys, I was muted there. I'm having a bit of a cough here, but no, it's good. Trip, this is amazing. So this is really exciting to see. You do not want to miss this when it happens. I mean, how long has this cup and handle been forming, right? Like, how long have we been here? It's been, I mean, it feels like light years, but obviously crypto, time is
right.
A little bit concept.
It's since about January, February or so. So it's been at least 6 months that we've been waiting. So yeah, I think it's due. We've had a pullback, solid retest. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues higher from here, as long as everything else fits into place, right? So that's the thing that we're trying to do, is match up all the different signals on the Bitcoin chart, the Ethereum chart, the dominance chart, the total 3 chart, and they should all fit together like one thing instead of treating them like separate entities. They're all
Right.
like pieces of a puzzle that all fit together.
Yeah, no, I like trying to solve this puzzle with you guys. It's been really fun. Megan says she's been on vacation mode. Absolutely. I mean, that is so essential too, guys. You got to like take a break from the charts sometimes, recoup, recharge your batteries, come back strong. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. Even on your vacation, you're tuning in, watching replays. I like it. I like it. Mian says ETF approval should likely happen relatively quickly now that the case is over. And Genius and Clarity Act. Yeah, I would agree with you. They're getting their ducks in a row, right? They're just tying up loose ends, old stuff that was baggage there that caused us from moving forward. And now we can finally move forward. So it's really exciting to see. I would agree with you on that. I don't think there would be too many more delays when we've got all of these new regulations coming out. Andrew says, been playing in the meme coin trenches. Okay. One you bet is Phoenix and ATM. Both are XRP memes. I remember you saying you were in the XRP meme trenches. That's a very interesting play right there. That could play out. That could play out really well for you. Stats and data are very important, says Jarvis. Yeah, probabilities. That is what trading is. You have the edge and then the probabilities, and you make decisions based on confluence and all of those different stats and probabilities, right? You put the puzzle together and then you make a decision. So yeah, I love it. I love it. James loves your analysis. Trip can't get enough. We love having you here, James. Mian as well. Your TA is appreciated. Thank you. Unstoppable Bulls is saying, yes, we're crushing it in the leverage group, guys, hitting TPs left and right, take profit zones. And yeah, on these moves that seem they could be smaller for just spot trading. They're exponentially bigger if you're leverage trading, if you know how to manage that risk. So yeah, we're crushing it in the group, guys. We are crushing. I have to remind you, the link is in the description. For those of you who have been wondering or on the fence, now is the time to make that leap. Study over the weekend. You never know. Altcoin season could be just around the corner and you want to be ready. So 10% off for being in the Crypto Megan community. It is a Telegram group, and we are hoping to launch our Patreon next week if you prefer to get updates by email. So yeah, that's all good. And Crypto Greek, US. So you said you're from the US. Okay. I was just wondering about your name, if you had some kind of Greek affiliation. Trip is one of a kind when it comes to TA. Absolutely. I mean, I watch a lot of other channels. I just like to gather information. I like to see what everybody else is saying, just so I can understand what you guys are hearing, and then I can have my own response to it, right? So I haven't seen this kind of analysis on other channels in this way. It's just for me, it's the next depth of the analysis. It's a whole nother dimension, right? Because it takes you into like what the actual, how do I say this? Like if we go a little bit deeper in the analysis here and teach you how to understand what's happening in a more conceptual way with different styles, right? So Trip, I just love your style. I think they're loving it too. And we want to get into XRP. So let's have a look at XRP.
Sure, yeah, XRP. So we broke out of this pattern we were talking about. I had a bit of a retest that was a little scary for a moment, but then it actually managed to break higher. And I think a lot of this was the news and what Bitcoin has been doing lately as well. So XRP has been doing good. It seems like today, after that news came out, we may have had a sell-off from the news. So it's a sell the news event, at least in the short term. Long term, that's a bullish idea. But I think lately, after that news came out today, that's probably why we're seeing this short-term pullback. But what we're focused on here for the levels is the fib levels on the right-hand side here. It's acting very well as support and resistance. We got this top locally at around $3.40, and now we're retesting the fib below it at about $3.19. So now this is going to be the next level to break for more upside. The first thing we need to do is tap, or break, I should say, the $3.65 mark, which is the previous high. And then we can start looking at these fib extension targets as well. The 1.272 is going to be first at about $3.88. And then the 1.618 at around $4.50. And the way it looks right now, I think XRP is just right in the middle of a breakout. It's having a normal pullback, which is healthy. So it's something definitely to pay attention to today to see if it can break this high. And if it doesn't, and it manages to make a lower high, or it gets rejected here, then there's a chance for a double top, where we could come down for a little bit just to cool off. But like I said before, a lot of this stuff depends on what Bitcoin's doing, what dominance is doing, now what Ethereum is doing. I think it's going to have the same effect of when we were watching Bitcoin for strength, that's when it became time to trade altcoins. And I think ETH is about to take that position where everyone's going to look to ETH to decide when it's time to trade altcoins just the same. So now ETH is going to be probably an important player as far as a signal in the market of what to do and when.
All right, that's the alpha right there, and I'm looking at ETH now. It's just crossing 4,000. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we get this breakout, or if we're gonna, go back down to those lower levels. But we might as well go over it now that we're at it. Mimi,
Yeah.
sorry, I can't zoom in. What's the red FBG level? So you were talking about XRP, right? I think.
Oh yeah, that's not a fair value gap. That was a resistance that we were talking about. We had actually zoomed into the 1 hour here before to show that this was the next breakout level. This was in our most recent live, I think yesterday. So at the time we were coming back down and just retesting this level and hadn't broken above this previous high. So that's what this red resistance zone is showing here.
Okay, so if you had tuned in yesterday and you bought in that level, you'd be in profit today. I'm just saying. We've had some pretty good timing without trying, but getting this out to you before it happens. So guys, do pay attention, go home, do your homework, watch the replays, do whatever you have to do to get ready, get your head on straight and your head in the game and eyes on the prize. That's it. So yeah, all good. Let's go over to ETH and have a look at that for a minute.
Okay, so yeah, same idea. We're just looking for that breakout above that $4,000 level. And then the next resistance we're looking at is around 48.30 at the 1.272, 57.60 at the 1.618, and 6,800 at the 2.0. The 2.0 is the measured range from the top of this range to the bottom. And if you were to stack it on top of itself, that's what this 2.0 level represents over here. So yeah, we just need to see that breakout. Not much else to say in the moment, but it definitely looks like it's trying for an attempt to break again. It's already moved past its previous high, which we had recently on the 28th of July. So far it's showing a decent move. As far as the divergence goes, this doesn't really look like a swing to the top yet. We had a previous divergence back here that rolled over a little bit from those overbought conditions, but it doesn't seem to have a peak forming yet on this side. So while it may look like a divergence so far, it could easily be invalidated if this keeps coming higher and goes above this previous high over here.
All right, so all eyes on ETH, guys. Is this the moment? Or are we going to need some time to consolidate, cool off? Let's see. But you know what's up on this channel. You know what to look for. You know what we're looking at. And yeah, so what's your consensus, Trip? Pepe versus Doge. Which one would you pick?
Well, I think just because of market cap, Pepe could perform better. So if I had to pick between one of the two to trade, I'd probably go for Pepe, personally.
Right. Yeah. And let's see if we get another touch on this trend line here. I would agree. And Pepe flies when ETH flies. I mean, that's been how it's been previously. It's had some really good pumps. So yeah, let's see if we get something similar. Almaneem ETH is flying, yeah. And I have to bring this up again too. I remember an episode where everybody on YouTube was saying they were dumping their ETH for Solana, and I was thinking, what is going on now? Like ETH is at the bottom on the floor, and people are saying it's time to dump it. I just didn't get it. And I never did that. And I never said that was thing to do. I just didn't make sense to me then. And so, yeah, like here we are. ETH is now at the focal point in the center of attention. And I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of wishy-washy and a lot of back and forth, but I think it's just very important to like keep these concepts in check and to continue to revisit them and not let sentiment take over and tune out the noise, guys. That's it. Like, people will be right, they'll be wrong, but like the charts are what the charts are, right? So we had this bigger triangle mapped out for Ethereum, and we were buying it on support on that triangle. I don't know if you have that triangle on your Trip.
I'd have to dig for it.
Well, it's like a bigger, what was it, like a 2-week chart or?
Yeah, it's like a 2-week chart. We were showing the bounce on the lower trend line where the 2-week 200 MA was. Right.
So like, yeah, we want to give you it like it is, whether it's bearish, bullish, everything in between here on the channel. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy about when we were buying ETH there on the lows and people were saying that it was no longer relevant, because of course it's relevant. It's the most trusted layer of, the the financial of DeFi. I mean, it is what the institutions trust. It's what everybody's going to use. I mean, so it doesn't make sense to fade it, in my opinion. Raw Food Writer says XLM is XRP's baby brother, seems to follow its moves. Yeah, they do move together a lot of the time. Sometimes the L1s move together, but XLM and XRP generally move together, just like Theta. Well, Theta and T-Fuel are the same ecosystem, but there are coins that tend to run together. So tips always deliver. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I see you have some additional detail here. Okay, this is what we're looking for if we don't break out, right?
Not really. This was just showing the bounce that we had on the 2-week 200 MA before.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we did say the other day if we had a rejection that we could come back down to certain levels, and we showed that chart as well. So always covering all the different scenarios, right?
Right. Yeah. So the bearish idea is if we do get rejected at this resistance, we have the point of control here as our next key support at around 3,300, and then the 0.618 is around 3,000. And then the 0.272 around 2121. So the reason for that being is that we could fill in this swing to equal this swing on the left side, potentially be building an inverse head and shoulders. So it sounds like a bearish idea, probably for the next few months at least, but it could be a really good buying opportunity and could be the pattern that sets for ETH to really take off. But again, this is the short-term bearish idea. If it doesn't break out here, I think fundamentals are coming into play, and that's why we're not going to see this pullback that people are expecting.
Right.
There's a chance ETH just takes off from here just because of all the other fundamental things going on.
Especially because it feels like so many people want to buy ETH cheaper now that all these things have been released, and Tom Lee is out there saying it's going to go to 15K. Now mainstream is excited. Oftentimes it doesn't do what people expect to do or want it to do. So yeah, I think you could be right about that fundamentally driven narrative now.
Yeah, it's the same as Bitcoin essentially. Most of the times we thought it was ready to break down, and then there would be some crazy treasury news that came out again, and it would bounce from that point. So we're probably going to see the same sort of thing happen on Ethereum, in my opinion.
All right. Well, we're ready for it on this channel, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. And I think with that, we're going to send you off into the weekend. Do your homework, watch the replay if you need to, take notes, check on all your positions, and get ready, all right? Because it's about to get fun in this market. Bitcoin dominance just looks so good, says Allison. Yes. We talked about that at the beginning of the stream, what we would need to confirm essentially an altcoin season or something of the sort, right? And so here it is, that 1 week 50 SMA. And this trend line that we've been watching, it feels like for quite a while now. A couple of weeks we've been talking about this.
Yeah, on a weekly chart, it takes forever. You only get a little bit of movement every so often.
Right. Yeah, so it does look good. It looks good in a way that we want it to look good, which is bearish, right? So it's guys, things are exciting, and we are right there knocking at the door. We have a ton of setups in the group that are ready to go, that we're showing you levels of interest and just getting ready to ride the wave. So yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the show. Do you have any final thoughts before we send them off into the weekend?
No, I think the focus today is just Bitcoin dominance, making sure that it breaks below and holds. So over the weekend, we're going to be watching the weekly chart for a weekly close below that 50-week SMA.
Right, that's what we did say. We'll give it a couple of more days. Let's see if we can get that confirmation and then take it from there. So we're right there. Let's see on Monday what's been happening. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful Friday, an amazing weekend, and we cannot wait to talk to you on Monday. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and we'll see you soon.
Great, thank you. Take care.